the long tail in any industry is always going to win out. You don't win. You actually win if you lose more than 50% of the time.
Right.
Let me explain that. You only need one big win.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You only need one or two big wins. If you understand that you really only need to hit gold once, and you should try a whole bunch of different things strategically in order to increase your odds of hitting gold that one time, is actually how this stuff happened.
This is the Online Trainer Show, Trainer Show, Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show. We shouldn't have a podcast.
So start with the protection plan stuff again.
Yes, yeah.
We'll pretend like we're doing this for the first time now that we're
yeah. So I've learned the value of the protection plan. You know, the extra dollars, because my camera that I normally use, it went down. It's a Canon T7i, $1,000 DSLR camera, and I like, you know, spending that extra $2, the extra $8, the extra $20 to protect it. At this age, I've found that it's crucial for me. I'm very much into that. And people who don't like it chap my hide.
So let me tell you why I don't agree with you. And let me tell you why I never take the extended protection plans.
You're rich. You can just buy shit whenever you want,
It has
Jonathan.
nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. In fact, it actually does have something to do with that, because one of the main ways to get rich and build wealth is to understand money and to understand how money works and how money grows. And
talk to the people, Jonathan.
Understand when other people are fearful, the benefits of making good decisions actually improve. So here's what guides me on where I buy insurance. Is I look at insurance as nothing other than disaster protection.
Right. Okay.
The amount of things that, this is a lesson from my dad, by the way. This isn't a John Goodman thing. The amount of things that you can buy insurance and extra coverage on that you spend $10 here, $50 there.
Right.
Those actually really add up over time versus like the one time you might need it where your computer goes down or whatever it is, where it's like $2,000. If you actually do the math, it never evens out. And so I look at insurance as pure disaster protection, right? Like I get travel medical insurance, but I do a really, really high what's it called when you've got to pay like a bit of cash up front?
Deductible.
Yeah, so I do. So I always get like a $5,000 or $10,000 deductible, because I don't care if I got to go to the doctor and pay $1,000 here.
Right.
What I care is that it's going to cost me $1 million.
Right.
And the difference in premiums when you have high deductibles is massive.
It's astonishing.
And so it's astonishing. And so in looking at that with like a car as well, you know, I don't care about, I mean, I'll get like collision insurance, sure, but I'll get, again, a $5,000 or $10,000 deductible. It all follows by the same principle because the premiums are so much lower.
Right.
Over time. All that I'm insuring against is a disaster. I'm not insuring against anything else. And as a result now, I have way more money for myself over time, which then grows and compounds over time and adds up to way more than we bought like a Lazy Boy chair for, I don't know what it was, like $1,500, and Allison wanted to spend like an extra $70 to get some like cleaning protection on it. I was like,
clean that Lazy Boy.
She's like, Calvin's going to be like bare-assed on it and it's going to be like whatever. I was like, so like, what would it cost us?
Kids do that, yes.
He for sure will. But like at the same time, like what will it cost us then, right, to get it cleaned without this cleaning protection? Like $200.
Right.
So why are we getting this like special cleaning insurance for like $70 when we don't know when the worst case scenario that's going to happen is we make the call ourselves to get this person to come out? And like the amount of little things. So anyway, that's why I don't agree with you, and that's my take.
I
on
gotta add
insurance
my
is
favorite example.
Get super high
on this.
deductibles. Get your premiums down.
My favorite example on this topic
is Carolina's
this
time
girl.
this episode.
No. I gotta say, wait. I gotta say an example on this topic is this girl who worked at a cell phone store. She was telling me about this younger guy goes and buys the newest iPhone, and then she's like, "Do you want the protection on it?" And he's like, "No, I don't know. It's fine." She's like, Carol, literally, this guy, the second he stepped out of the door, he dropped it and it smashed and it was done. And he's like, maybe I will. What? And she's like, no, I can't. You left. No, like that's not. Right. Anyway, that's awful. I hope that never happens to you.
That's how they get
that's
you.
Awful. That's how they get you. They make the poor camera in those iPhone stores.
My camera situation would have been awful. Now I can at this point, thank you, Jesus. At this point, I can afford to buy another camera. I can afford to buy another camera, and it will not put a dent in my finances in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And that's thanks to the OTA and OTA level 2, by the way. Plug. But however.
So what are we learning here? If you pay John Goodman money,
right,
then you will make more money yourself. That sounds.
That is the best protection
we're
plan
running a Ponzi
there.
scheme.
Yeah, your best when they offer you the service protection plan, you tell them no, I'm an OTA level 1 graduate, and it's better than Allstate. The good hands on the Allstate logo are literally Jonathan Goodman's hands. That's why Allstate says you're in good hands. The parenthetical MAN after good is implied in the commercial. You're in Goodman's hands is what it's really saying. So if you've been through OTA level 2, you don't need insurance. You're insured. You're protected by the PTDC. I'm going to start telling people that.
Let's talk about like another piece of this. So you talk about like your camera and how it wouldn't take you down. Like you should not own things. Like you should always go live below your means, right? Like you should not buy
you should not own things
that if they break.
Yeah, if it breaks, you have to move out of your home.
What is astonishing to me is I'll be like walking down the street and I'll see like laborers who are making minimum wage and they're pulling out $1,000 iPhone.
Absolutely.
It's just like, what in the hell are you doing, right? And so that to me is the problem. Is if you have to buy insurance because this thing breaking would be such a big problem to you, you shouldn't own that thing. The democratization of product, there is basically nothing these days except for potentially private air travel that really wealthy people have that even lower class, middle to lower class people don't have appropriate access to.
Right.
We all can get a really cheap phone and phone plans. We all can get a TV. We all can have a cheap car that gets us to point A and B. And the reality of it is
absolutely
the actual service that it provides, the benefit that it provides is actually almost not different in any meaningful way.
Right.
To wealthy
if you're not walking,
if you dissociate from your ego.
Yeah, if you're not walking, you're not walking.
If you're not walking,
it's not like I need to be not walking in a Ferrari. Either way, you're not walking.
You should not have $1,000 phone if you can't afford that $1,000 phone breaking.
Right.
There's just no question. That's the root of the problem, right?
That is the root of the problem. However, I am glad that I have the service protection plan
I'm proud of you for having that right.
On my camera because it paid off for me this time. But
let's get on.
But your commentary does give pause, Jonathan. It does give pause to that thought process. And I'm saying this as a man who spent a decade of his life selling insurance. That it does give pause, but that was life insurance. That's different. We know you're going to die. We just don't know when. We just don't know when.
Like, again, disaster protection. Allison and I 100% have life insurance. And the policy on my head is bigger than the policy on your head, because what's the disaster, right? Like, if she passes, I'll be absolutely crushed in every which way, and I won't know what to do with myself. But financially, I'll be fine.
Right. You'll be able to maintain
if
the
I
household.
pass,
The catastrophic.
So, like, again, it's just a matter of managing that.
Well,
Anyway,
I got to be honest,
time to
Jonathan.
shine. Can we talk about?
Yeah, it is. It is Carolina's time to shine. We're gonna. So Carolina came up with a brilliant topic today, and it's sort of predicated on. Can we call it the Netflix effect? Can we say that? Is that something that's reasonable? Let's just call it that.
I think so. I think that's what it is.
I think the Netflix effect. We've seen it recently, right?
I forgot what the actual thing we're talking about actually is.
Well, Keto,
what are we actually talking about?
You share with us, Keto, what your thought about today's conversation topic was.
So my thing for today is like the idea behind the topic is where will you be when your thing becomes the thing? And what that means, like all of this, I've been thinking a lot about the Netflix show, The Queen's Gambit. A lot of people are familiar with it because it became like an overnight sensation, huge hit. Lots of people loved it. And it follows the story, the made-up story of a girl, a woman eventually, chess player. And it's all that she has to go through and the stuff that she has to put up with and the barriers that she has to break. And it's a fantastic show. And but what happened? No, it's not a true story. It's fictional.
It's not based on anybody?
Fictional.
Oh, I thought it was based on a true story. Oh, okay. To be fair, I watched half an episode.
Of course you did, Jonathan.
That's it, Jonathan.
Of course you did.
It's like, it's a woman and there's emotion, so I'm out.
Hey. Let's not.
Turn it off.
Enough of that.
Did she just cry? Turn that off. I don't have to tolerate this.
I don't like what's happening here. I don't like what's happening.
That's right.
Guys, I am your boss, okay? I am your boss, and you will respect me.
And that's why we're in Mexico right now, and you are at the mercy of Mexican internet. So for all we know, you're just gonna drop off the call right now. It's fine.
Right, absolutely. We'll be okay here. We'll be okay. We'll muddle through somehow. So Keto,
Queen's Gambit, go on.
Yes. So continuing with the story. So what happened here is that now what I'm noticing is in a lot of business groups that I'm a part of on Facebook, what we're seeing is that tons who's enjoying this hit of the show right now? Chess coaches. They have their hands full. They have way more clients that they can handle. They don't know what to do. It's like, oh my God, like this is amazing. It's like an amazing influx of business for them because their thing suddenly and overnight became the thing that everybody wants. And so who's really milking all this excitement and all the benefit is those chess coaches who have already laid the foundation of their work. They have already done the hustle. Some people already knew about them, so they are the ones getting recommended. Their names are the ones that pop up when people do Google searches. They are the ones that have the freebies of like, hey, sign up here to receive my quick intro guide into chess playing 101 or whatever.
Right.
Those are the people who are freaking killing it right now. So again, the question is...
Sounds a lot like the Online Trainer Academy in April 2020.
It does. It does.
Exactly. Jonathan, I was going to bring this back to you because what freaking happened when the pandemic broke out and every single online coach every single trainer and coach wanted to start online coaching. Who milked it? Like who really benefited from it? You, right? Because you had laid the foundation of this work for so long that you were like the no-brainer go-to. So that's amazing.
We had 5,600 new customers in the first week when the first shutdowns happened.
It was
advertising.
I had just become an OTA coach maybe a month or two before this happened, and it was crazy. Like it was just, I can't describe it any other way than crazy. Like just the influx of coaching calls that we had in sort of in the bullpen of OTA coaches Like it was just, and the other thing was, and this probably isn't a good thing, and the chess coaches may be experiencing this, Keto, but everybody wanted advanced knowledge immediately.
Yeah.
Like there was a sense of urgency that was demand that we could not supply. We couldn't make people experts immediately.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that these chess coaches are having sort of an influx that people want to learn as much as possible right away.
Yeah.
You know, and get
Yeah,
in
but
how do I get in the
the
tournament?
difference with the maybe I would think that the difference with the chess coaches would be different. I mean, in our case, it was unique. The whole industry finally woke up and realized that they needed what we've been telling them that they need for the last 6 years.
Right.
They were also hurting a lot. I mean, they still are. Our industry is still hurting quite a bit. They needed that. They needed to be there. We'll call it be there now, right? Because I'm not as eloquent as you.
Yes.
They needed to be there now because they were hurting. Their income got slapped to, in many cases, nothing overnight. And so they needed to feed their families. I mean, literally. And so that situation was very different than the chess situation. I've seen some of the stats in how much chess has benefited from the Queen's. It's unreal what's happened. You know, with us, it was different because there was a lot of pain associated with the new
change.
Exposure. Yeah. Whereas with chess, it's not so much. It's just like, oh, you know, I've been thinking about chess for a while. Like, oh, this is pretty cool. I'm going to learn it. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now here's the thing though, Ren and Jonathan, like if we think about it, for example, the Summer Olympics, like they're coming up soon. We've talked about this before. Summer Olympics, there's always like this incredible stories of glory and the underdog. Like, is your sport or your specification, you fitness trainer listening to us right now, is your thing going to become the next big thing? Thanks to the Olympics, thanks to the successes, thanks to the next show or pop culture thing that explodes. Like, and if it does, are you prepared? Like, do you have a way of collecting people's emails to start creating your email list if you don't do that already? Do you have valuable resources that you're sharing? And how are you placed within, like, do people know to find you when they need your service?
Or could that's go for it, Ren, and then I'll enter my thought afterwards.
No, you go ahead.
Say what I'm going to say. I mean, first of all, Carolina, I freaking love this topic. I love that you brought it up.
It's really good. It's a really good topic.
It's a really good topic because, yes, there's a large element of chance. Anybody who you speak to in anything, like basically the long tail in any industry is always going to win out. You don't win. You actually win if you lose more than 50% of the time.
Right.
Let me explain that. You only need one big win. Right? You only need one or two big wins. And you don't really know what those are going to be. You're certainly not going to win every time. You're certainly not going to win. I mean, odds are you're not going to win the first time. But if you understand that you really only need to hit gold once, and you should try a whole bunch of different things strategically in order to increase your odds of hitting gold that one time, is actually how this stuff happened. And it's not just like, I'm not just talking about online training. If you haven't gotten that yet, like this podcast is not just about online training. Right? Nothing I do is like read my book, like take the Online Trainer Academy. Like it's not just about online training, because I would be doing you a service if it was just about online training. It's about life. And the best that I know it, right? And so you're like Warren Buffett, for example, has made something like 400 investments in his life. Greatest investor of all time, right? 10 of those investments were good investments. Literally. Right. Like 10 out of 400, right? But those 10 were so good that, and he held on to them for so long. Right. And that's the other piece of it, is like holding on for it long enough to actually make a difference. So how do you position yourself with this idea? Well, I mean, unless you like knew what was going to come out in Netflix, like it would have been hard to estimate like the Queen's Gambit. But if you know that the Summer Olympics are coming up let's break this down a little bit and how you could actually build strategy out of this. Okay, so you're an athletic preparation coach. Cool. Those words mean nothing. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Those words mean nothing. Those words mean nothing to nobody. So it's
Right.
kind of irrelevant. But you can call yourself that. That's cool. You could actually prepare people for like any sport. I mean, if you know how to prepare people for sports, like you just need to break down the sport. I trained everybody from dragon boaters, these are like professional dragon boaters, to professional arborists, like people who climb trees in competitions, to
Wow.
Olympic gymnasts, to NHL players, to actors, to like actors, like physical actors, right, which is effectively sport, to downhill mogul skiers,
Right.
like Olympic hopefuls. I don't think he made the Olympics, but Olympic. Like once you understand a sport, you can break down the mechanics of it. Right? So, okay, so you know that the Summer Olympics are coming up. It would not be very difficult to highlight 5 or 10 key athletes, very good chance news during the Olympics and being the top guy, the top girl in the Olympics. Right? Who are the people who have these incredible stories? Who are the hopefuls of winning gold or multiple golds? Right? Well, then you can actually get in front of it and say, okay, here's the sport. Here's where the exposure is going to be. How can I, the second that happens, be ready with the product, be ready with the program, be ready with my marketing based off of this? You can do the same thing with physique training. What are blockbuster movies that are going to be coming out in the next 6 to 12 months? What are the superhero movies?
You're going to laugh
what are the
about
action
this,
movies?
but you know one thing that worked for me like a freaking charm is after this past Super Bowl that we had Shakira at 45 years old and J-Lo at 51, 52 years old, shaking all they have with the majesticness that is them. Guess whose target market is like women over 40?
That's the most Carolina line ever.
There hasn't been a more Catalina thing that's existed in all of sports up until that Super Bowl.
That was my moment. I was like, ladies, I am here for you. I got you. Like, I got your back. Literally, I got your backside, ladies. Like, we can do this. We can do this. So, yes, that was totally my thing.
So
I didn't know.
I love it. So let's play around with this, right? You didn't know that this was going to happen. This was a happy accident. You were positioned obviously really well for it, and you did well with it. But think about if you were to look, you're like, okay, well, I know that the Super Bowl halftime, holy crap, Beyonce or J-Lo and Shakira are, dancing at halftime. Like, you don't know they're going to shake the butt, but like, you know that there's going to be media attention around their appearance, like it or not.
Right.
Like, that's going to happen, right?
Yes.
You know that they're going to show up like their best because of what this thing is.
Right.
You could have gotten ahead of that.
Yes, I could have. And
you could have gotten ahead of that in a big way, big way, if you anticipated it. Right. So you could just like follow the careers of like Latina bombshell, like boss women. Right. And know where they're going to be and anticipate when they're going to be in the news. And when they are, just be ready to hop on it with content, with programs, with whatever.
And honestly, how fun.
So anyway,
for me, because that's authentic to me, right? And that's part of what we keep kind of like trying to nail in the head for all coaches here and listening is that if you stay authentic to you, like it's not even an effort. It doesn't even feel difficult because it's fun for you. Right. It's enjoyable. It's what you know, and you are ready. You have laid the ground foundation for when your thing becomes the thing.
Hey, Jonathan Goodman here. This podcast is made possible thanks to people like you. Here's a quick word from our sponsors. Are you still trying to pick your online training software? If so, let me make this easy for you. Go with PT Distinction. It's truly the best, and I'm not just saying that because they're our sponsor. We actually use PT Distinction for our own online fitness business, online trainer coaching, and we're really happy with it. From onboarding to programming to client communication, PT Distinction has everything you need to run your online fitness business smoothly, and it's super simple to use. Now, normally they offer a free 30-day trial, but as a listener of the Online Trainer Show, you get a free 60-day trial, so you can make sure you love them before spending a dime. If you want to deliver first-class service to your clients while reclaiming your time, then visit onlinetrainer.com/PTD to sign up for your free 60-day trial today. If you're a fitness nutrition coach that's looking to master online coaching so that you can help more people, make more money, and have more freedom, then the Online Trainer Academy can help. OTA gives you the framework, knowledge, and support to have predictable success with your online coaching business. From marketing to business development to how to assess and motivate your clients online, it is constantly updated and refreshed to keep up with a dynamic market. Not only that, OTA is proven. In 7 years, we've helped over 30,000 coaches in 87 countries go online. Truth is, we know what works, so you can get right to the success part. And in case you're busy working a full-time job or you're a full-time parent, know that you can go at your own pace. There's no deadlines to complete OTA and you have lifetime access. That said, if you are ready to make a rapid change and finish the course in the next 8 to 12 weeks, you can expect to invest 3 to 5 hours each week on the program. And here's the best part. If you join today, you will make an extra $1,000 a month in 90 days, or I'll give you your money back. So if you're ready to build the fitness business you want and make the money you deserve, go to onlinetrainer.com/academy to enroll today. And I hope to see you in there.
Carolina, if you jumped on this and you're like, and you put out like a free Zoom thing and you opened it up to everybody in all your like Mexican expat mom groups and whatever it is, free registration, learn to do the Shakira J-Lo Super Bowl dance.
Oh my God.
And you taught it on Zoom. And then you made an offer at the end of it that says, we're going to do this again in 2 months. But I've got this program to get you in the best shape of your life to rock it. Who wants it?
I like this. Cool. It would be pretty cool.
Right?
Maybe I'll take it. Maybe I'll borrow.
I'd like to sign up for that.
Let me know how it goes, and I'll take 10%.
Can I just
hello.
Just throw that out there.
When's gonna be the guy on Zoom with his camera turned off?
Right, that's exactly what I'm gonna be. The camera will be so turned off. Yeah, that sounds like a phenomenal idea, Keto. Like, keep me posted on that.
You know what? I might just, this might be like a good experiment for the podcast. Maybe I'll do it and see what happens. Because Shakira just came out with a new choreo for her video, and everybody's like recreating. So I don't know. Maybe I jump on that, the newest thing.
I'd be happy to objectively
of course,
comment about.
I mean, that could literally. Yeah, no, I would 100% just comment without any precedence on
just very objectively.
That could be your entire program was like every 2 months or whatever it is. It's like not only will you get fit, you'll learn like this new whatever Shakira dance, J-Lo dance. You could just spin that like every 2 months, right?
Fun.
Like I don't know, but this idea of like understanding like what's coming up in the news, it's not hard to do. Right?
Here's the challenge. It's hard if you're operating outside of any unique selling proposition. Yes. And if you're not operating within authenticity. That's when it gets difficult, right? Yeah. And that's the problem, because you can't pay attention to trends if you're always hopping around trying to figure out what people want instead of being who you are. I've had this conversation a few times with OTA students about, they've asked me about, enrolling people in December, and I'm not big on deciding up front for a potential client what they will or won't do. So you'll never get me saying things like, well, people are thinking about other things during the holidays, I don't like that language. There's always somebody who wants what you need. There's always somebody that can afford it. There's always somebody that's ready to do it. So I don't put thoughts into other people's heads about what I think they won't do because of insert reason here. But what I have told coaches is, are you paying any attention to what you're seeing happen in the market right now? Because number one, if you go online and you try to buy a pair of dumbbells, they're going to be sold out or inflated ridiculously in price. Yeah. That tells me everybody's sort of stocking their home gym right now. Number two, are you paying attention to what's happening to gyms around the world? From global gym to mom and pop shops, they're closed down, they're open, they're closed down? Number 3, are you paying attention to the frustration that the potential clients are having because of the fact that gyms are fluctuating, plus the fact that people are adding home equipment? If you've got a good in-home workout, like your time is Q1 2021. Like, and if you don't see that and you're not prepared to say in your language, hey, for all of you that have lost your gym, but you've got dumbbells at home, for all of you that have exercise bands and minimal equipment, for like, it's right there in front of your face to take advantage of what's about to happen in that regard. In my opinion, if you're building sort of large gym only routines, you got to sort of see the writing on the wall here. Like, something's about to happen. Are you prepared to maybe put down the barbell in the Olympic lifts for the first quarter of 2021 and offer something that people are absolutely going to be able to do? Because one of the things that Jonathan told me when the pandemic first hit, he said, people need you to facilitate something. It's not about the workout specifically. It's not about the nutrition specifically, but people need you to facilitate some type of thing they can be involved in that gives them a sense of security in regards to how they connect with their wellness. So I did a 7-day at-home challenge, which went well, by the way. I had people lifting laundry baskets for rows and canned goods for lateral raises, but it went off really well. So we're about to come to that Queen's Gambit moment in Q1, I think, for people who can eloquently and entertaining and in an entertaining manner provide some sort of at-home workout to get people through this Q1. But are you prepared for it? Because
it's going to be a long winter.
Enough? It's going to be a long winter. A long winter. Like, this thing isn't going to go away Q1 or 2, in my opinion. Everybody just been doing their workouts outside. That's not going to work for sort of 2/3 of North America. You're not going to be able to get away with that. Like, people aren't going to go out in the snow, do jumping jacks in boot camp. Like, and that writing's on the wall. And Jonathan's been good about sort of forecasting based on really what's in front of our faces at the moment, and being ready, being ready for when that pivots. And that's why I like this topic that Kero brought up so much. Because if you're operating in what's authentic to you, it's hard not to see the writing on the wall. It's hard not to be in that space. I'm sure chess coaches were probably all over the stories about Queen's Gambit once it was probably greenlit, and they knew that it was gonna, it was gonna come out next year on Netflix. The smart ones were, I'm sure.
But nobody knew that it was going to be popular.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like, that
absolutely
was
not.
like
think about it. It's just
right? Like so random.
Right. Okay. We were going to have a scripted drama series about female playing chess. Oh yeah, that's going to be a Netflix hit. It's like, nobody predicted that one. It's like, okay, I got a great idea. Have you ever heard about big cats? It's like, nobody knows that these things are going to be. Like, how do you predict this stuff, right?
I
would be very. Yeah, she's milking it though, dude. It would be very interesting to. She's milking it. She's on like Dancing with the Stars, right? It would be very interesting to actually speak to some like top chess coaches and see whether they had like any idea that this was happening. Or that this was going to happen. Like, did people in that community kind of predict it? I mean, look, in the fitness world, it didn't take a freaking brainiac to say, okay, well, you know what? Personal training in a gym is kind of a shitty thing.
Right.
So, like, it's pretty broken how the business model works right now. Not to say that we should eliminate it, but like, clearly there has to be more to this.
Right.
You didn't have to do it for very long in the gym to know that. Right.
Right.
So for me, it was very different, right? For me, it was just a matter of, the Wayne Gretzky line. Like, I'm a skate to where the puck is going. Right. I don't know when, but I know that online training is going to hit.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know when, but I want to make sure I'm there beforehand. right? With chess, I don't know whether that was quite the case. You know,
Well, maybe not.
I don't think like everybody knew chess wasn't
Maybe not.
going anywhere, but whether it was going to be like front page news, I'm not sure.
The thing,
You know, you'd be surprised.
No,
Go ahead.
Where
Ken.
are you
go.
taking this one, Ren?
yeah, go Ren, go, Ren, go.
Well, I mean, sometimes when you operate in a genre, you just understand how significant it can be. Put your finger on the pulse of that community, so you can be surprised. You know, as a Marvel junkie, you know, as a comic book junkie, I knew that Black Panther was going to hit in a way that nothing ever hit in the Marvel universe before, and I was reading for that a year prior. You know, I'm a black guy, so I know how black guys
you
who
could
love
have crushed
superheroes.
that on Black Panther.
I could have if my demographic
Right?
wasn't.
You could have
moms over
gotten ahead
30.
of that and crushed that.
Demographic is different for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, my moms over 30 don't really care about it. But if I was training dudes, you know, I could have, you know, here's a routine that Michael B. Jordan utilized. You know, you want to build a Killmonger body, you know, like I could have really, same thing with Creed with Michael B. Jordan. Hey,
Right.
you want to build an Adonis Creed body? Here's how. You know, train for the ring. Like I could have capitalized, but my demographics a little offshoot of that. So that wouldn't have worked well for me. But
Can we talk Michael B. Jordan doing just interviews for acting, and they're like, all right, cool, we got this new guy coming in. He's really, really great. Oh, what's his name? Michael Jordan. Ah, shit.
You're right.
Wait.
No,
And then
really?
one person was like, wait a minute. What if we put a B in there? And he's like, you're brilliant.
Right. And so this kid can get some jobs. This kid can get some jobs now because nobody's hiring Michael after the Space Jam. Yeah, after the Space Jam movie, nobody's hiring Michael Jordan. So Keto, in terms of, you know, being prepared, and you know, I had a conversation with one of the OTA students before this call, Peter Fisher, and he reminded me of the quote, you know, luck is when preparation meets opportunity, right?
Yeah.
You know, in terms of this, like, is there a way to sort of seize these opportunities? Like, what do you see there? Like, do I just need to be a person who speaks a lot about what I do specifically? Do I need to be as authentic as possible? Like, how do I set myself up for that thing that might happen? Is there a way in your mind to set up for that thing that might happen?
Yes, I think there's definitely many ways in which this can be achieved. And it's definitely like that, like the intersection of the things that you love and the quirkiness that makes you, combined with the service that you offer. Because, like, for example, I am deeply passionate about women's rights, about equality, about topics like that. And I think that most of, like, all of my clients essentially, and also my my peers, know that when they find, like, they know what kind of woman would work well with me. They know what kind of woman would be very resistant to working with me because of my political views. Right? If they are more on the conservative side, they would probably want nothing to do with me. And that's okay. That's totally fine because we're not for each other. Totally cool. But that's very clear to anybody who can see my social media because that's important to me. So I talk about it and it just comes through and it's all there. Just like dancing is important. Shaking my booty is important. Like priorities, people, right? And so I find the clients that are okay with all of that. You too. And for example,
you just described Jonathan Goodman's business model.
That's it right there. No, but taking it back, for example, to the example that we were talking about with the Olympics, like, I don't care. Like, are you a mobility specialist? Talk about mobility, and as the athletes that are going to be representing in the Olympics start coming up, talk about them in what they do that is relevant to your line of work, that you also do with your clients, that you agree or disagree with, anything like that. If you train postpartum moms, I can guarantee you there's going to be athletes in the Olympic who just recently gave birth and they are now back and on track and competing in the Olympics after having had a baby. And that doesn't mean that we're going to put our clients through the stuff that they go through. but they're going to be there, and so highlight them and talk about them and what sacrifices or struggles they have found. That resonates with your clients, and they have somebody to look up to. So the examples are there, but you really have to connect with yourself. Like I said, your enjoyment and your quirkiness, the things that make you, combined with a very particular service that you provide. Those things together.
And one of the really cool things that's such a great point, Carolina. One of the really cool things too about Olympic athletes is they're very rarely like huge celebrities.
Exactly.
Right.
And so if you were to find, using your example, if you were to find just a amazing female athlete who's newly postpartum and write up a bit of a feature about her or celebrate her in some way, tag her in it, like you could easily figure out a way to get to her, right? My guess, like odds are pretty good that she would then share it to all of her audience, who are your desired audience.
Yeah.
And you might actually begin to build a relationship with her.
Exactly,
which could be
by
interesting in a lot of
celebrating
different
others.
ways.
Yes.
Right? I mean, it's super cool. And there's a big opportunity there because there are, you know, I think about like book blurbs a lot. It's like everybody's trying to get a book blurb or like a review from like a celebrity. You actually, the most powerful reviews are from people with really authoritative titles. So if you can have something like on your page, oh, you know, here's a quote from an Olympic silver medalist.
Right.
That nobody needs to know who that person is. The title's good. Here's, you know, from a CEO of a company or from an army general or something like that is actually like the best quotes, social proof that you could ever get. This could be an opportunity coming up where you could get some of that absolutely killer social proof that is like so perfectly dialed in to your audience. Carolina, this episode is your time to shine, man. You're killing it.
And she did indeed shine. Like there was a distinct sheen. It was
it's 1 o'clock though. We got to go. Yeah.
It's 2 o'clock here. I'm in your future, Jonathan. We hope you learned some valuable lessons here about sort of positioning. You know, when the thing comes to you, are you prepared for it? Right. And I think the most important thing, one of the most important things that we shared here today, and so eloquently put by Catalina, is like everything good that you want to happen through this whole online training thing is going to happen through the very narrow needle of authenticity. Like if you can't sort of figure out what you're talking about or who you're talking to, there's a good chance that you're just you haven't committed to your own quirkiness, as Keto put it, your own authenticity. And I can tell you from working with coaches on their USP and their stories all day, that one thing really does complicate a lot of other things. It makes almost everything after that really difficult to attain. So lock in on what's authentic to you. Dive into that, man. Be your regular authentic self to the extent that it's beneficial, and when those opportunities present themselves, not only will you be prepared for it, you'll be able to notice it because it's things that you're already following along with anyway, and pretty much everybody's going to get some opportunity for their thing to be the thing, but you might not get it twice. So don't miss it. Don't miss it when it comes. Show notes can be found at onlinetrainer.com/podcast. I nailed it. That's 2 for 2. I'm 2 shows in a row where I totally nailed that. We didn't get to hear from Amber that much today, but we know she's there somewhere because this thing's turned on. She's got other stuff going on.
She's there. Amber's beneath our wings.
Yeah.
She is. Amber's not feeling so hot today, so she is here, but she is a black square, just making sure the podcast runs, but video and audio off.
Well, we hope you feel better, Amber, because nobody with a haircut that fabulous should feel bad in the same week. If you guys haven't seen Amber's hair, her Pantene Pro V commercial that she did for us on Facebook the other day, it was a significant moment in hair history. It was just an expertly flipped and tossed blonde, high cut bob. It was just amazing. So we'll see you guys next time on the Online Trainer Show, and do some jingle stuff. And Amber, do whatever thing you do. We don't understand this format at all.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show. We shouldn't have a podcast.